right, dude. B. Williams. What's up, brother?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you. You were one of the first people I had mentioned, I think, in the earlier few episodes that I recorded. I don't know if did you listen to Noops? Yeah, I think we were talking about you there. That's when I was like, you know what? I got to get him on. Because you've been a client with us here at New England, they're at New England Functional Fitness for how long?
Since around the start of the new year.
Yeah.
But I was doing it like a little more inconsistently. And then,
I remember, when you came in, you were like totally about it.
Yep.
And I don't know if the guys remember, but the first impression I had of you, and I said to them, now that's a guy I would totally go hiking with. Because I feel like you're that kind of guy who's like, you throw a backpack on and you would go for it. Do you ever go up there?
Yes.
Up to New Hampshire and all that?
Oh, yeah. New Hampshire actually did little hiking in the White Mountains last year in the fall with my buddy Chris, who's here. We did Mount Washington, and we did. Do you remember the name? It was the Eastern. We did some really secluded like trail up to the top, not the standard like Tuckerman's Ravine.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a 7-hour summit.
Dude, it's always it's like a whole day when you go up there. I can't talk enough about it because I absolutely love going up there. That's something, in fact, we haven't really taken advantage of. Jameson's here, shout out, by the way, too, behind the mic, being a young Jamie Dew. We would go multiple times during the summer, and even into the fall. And I think, Jameson, have you guys ever gone during the winter?
No, not yet.
No. Yeah, I know a couple of our friends who have. It takes a lot more equipment, but still probably a really awesome time.
Yeah. When we did it in like October, it was like just...
Yeah, foliage.
And it was like just the end of the season.
Dude, it's absolutely beautiful. For those of you who are listening and haven't gone out there during peak foliage or around that time, definitely make that something on your to-do list because it is so much fun to go out there. And it's just amazing. Like, you've never seen foliage like that in your entire life.
Yeah.
I was completely blown away when we went with Licks. Shout out to Alex Photo. That was a great time. He bumped his noggin. What do you fall? He had to take the gondola down.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy. It's a really good time, though.
You've done some hiking in the Berkshires too. I remember talking to you about that.
Yeah. You can go out to I think it's Adams.
Yeah.
You can go up to what the heck?
Greylock.
Greylock.
Yeah. You've done Allender.
I've done Allender a few times. I've camped up there.
Yeah,
a
my
couple
buddy
times.
has too.
It's awesome. Chris, you have?
Yeah.
So cool. It's such a great spot to camp.
Yeah, it is.
And you can see like 2 or 3 states from the top at the summit.
Yeah, I was surprised you had heard about that. I remember talking to you about hiking in the Berkshires.
It's kind of like something you hear about like for word of mouth. I feel like it's not advertised everywhere, but it's like a perfect place to go camping because you got that cabin at the top.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So yeah, man. Before we started this, I was talking to you. I was like, man, I would love to pick your brain about some stuff because as long as you've been a client and everything, and I've always really admired you because you have great personality, great character.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? You push through it all. And I never really got a chance to like meet you and know what you do and stuff.
Yeah.
I know you and your company are somewhat involved in energy or fuel or something.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you guys do?
Can I plug my business?
Yes,
here?
please.
All right, maybe
Is it your business?
Here. I like to tell people it's my dad's business.
Okay, that's still. You'll send me the graphic. It'll be right up here. You guys will see it.
Beautiful.
Seriously though.
It's called Williams Oil Company. It's in Stafford, Connecticut.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's home heating oil.
Yeah, it's funny when you pulled up in your car. I did not realize you were from Connecticut. I was like, oh crap.
CTO. I live in Summers. Hope that's okay to talk all my personal information. I'm not going to get like people attacking me.
No. The platform's not that big yet. There's a lot of people living in Summers. Just don't give out your phone number or address.
My address.
You're a little closer here with the mic.
Okay, I live in Summers, like 5 to 7 minutes from the gym in East Long Meadow, so it's like right over the line.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
okay, so you're right there.
Really close.
We have a couple clients who live in. Do you know? I can't mention his last name, but there's a guy who also lives in Summers. He owns a spyware company.
Oh, cool.
So how's that been? What's that been like for you?
It's good. I mean, I'm not sure. Some people have experienced like working closely with family members or like a parent.
It can be tough.
It can be tough at times. We have a pretty good, working relationship and, father-son relationship.
That's awesome.
Pretty good. I mean, yeah, there are days when like we like get on each other's nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like pretty solid. And
What are some things you learn? Are you one of the guys who you drive the truck and deliver the oil? Or
I don't. I just I work in the office all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
you deal with logistics and
I
stuff?
take a lot of heat from all like the drivers and stuff. Like this guy can't even drive a truck. Oh man. But yeah. So basically, I just do. I work in the office. I like work with customers, like billing stuff, doing the work orders for all the we have a service department too.
Right.
So mostly just working with customers and.
How long have you guys been in business?
My dad started the business. I think we're just past like 31 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's building up that customer base, and we go all over Tallinn County and some parts of Massachusetts as well.
What are some cool things that you guys had to do or change up in the industry since you started it? Has there been like any? Because I know there's a lot of push for alternative sources of energy these days. So what's the
Yeah, I mean we're located in an area, a very like rural area. Anyone who's familiar with like Stafford and like our big towns, we go up into like Willington, Ashford, Union, Ellington, Tallinn. Like it's pretty rural, and these areas that we go to don't have like the natural gas lines. It's all like older houses use heating oil. So there in my neck of the woods there hasn't been like a huge push for like alternative energy sources. So kind of is what it is out there. And,
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah, it keeps us busy. It was an interesting year, but just the price of oil like plummeted. We had like record lows over the last few months, so it was good for business.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah,
dude. Who would have thought you would end up seeing how cheap did gas get, Jameson? I mean, I feel like I
ended up like with my Stop and Shop discount.
Yeah.
I got, like, I don't know. I filled my tank for like $12 one day.
What? How much per gallon you think was that?
That was like
$12 for a full tank.
$1.40 a gallon as a tank, but with my discount, it went down another like 30 cents.
Jeez.
Yeah, crazy.
That's insane. So like almost less than $1 per gallon.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Is it what kind of fuel? Is it propane or?
It's not propane. It's heating oil. It's diesel.
Yeah. So how does that work? Do you just buy by the barrel from another large distributor, or do you guys have a?
We drive our fleet of trucks down to like the Hartford area and fill up the trucks.
Yeah.
They hold around like 3,000 gallons depending on the size of the truck.
Yeah.
So we buy it, haul it back, and then deliver right to people's houses.
There we go.
Businesses. Yeah.
There we go. That's pretty cool.
That's what we do.
That sounds like fun though. I could see that being fun, being in at least the you're probably more administration. You got a lot of like business experience. Did you go to college?
I did.
What'd you go to college for?
I went to college. So I actually, for high school, I went to like a boarding high school in like the Northampton area.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to college in Boston, like Boston University. Graduated. I studied health sciences.
Nice.
So not getting a ton of use, but I enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah.
It was
Is that
awesome.
what you got your degree in?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I did the same thing. In fact, I think I spent like 3 semesters in college. I went for like political science, then I went for intro to theater, and then I did electronic media. So
dude, I could see you doing like more theater stuff. You
Yeah,
have like the
well,
personality and like
the only thing that really stuck with me was like some like the electronic media based stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I could pull off theater per se, but it was very fun, to be involved.
Yeah. Well, I like to refer to Mike. He's known more to me as the Tom Cruise of New England Functional Fitness.
That's what everybody.
Am I not the first person to make that like comparison?
You're not actually at New England Functional Fitness. Yes, you are, but I've gotten that like more often than I feel like I should.
The charismatic attitude.
I don't know why. I guess somebody. I can't tell you really how many times I've actually gotten that. I'm not even lying right now. I've gotten that so much.
Dude, I wish people would say I was like Tom Cruise.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just nod and smile. Oh, okay. Dude, you're picking up tips from me when I was golfing, bro, huh?
Yeah, man, that was hard to watch. That Snapchat.
Dude, I have to teach you some stuff, bro.
Dude, I played last weekend for the first time. I didn't go out at all last year, unfortunately, but I did play quite a bit of golf, like growing up.
Yeah.
Played on the golf team at Williston High School, and played a little bit in college. Not in the college team, but
first thing I get after going to the range for the first time in my entire life with one of my partners, Matt, I get a text from this guy going, dude, I had to put my phone down. That made me cringe. I was like, I felt like I hurt your feelings. I was like, oh my God, was it that bad? I had no idea what I was doing. Matt taught me the same thing like 10 times. I couldn't get it.
Well, I didn't know it was only like your second time golfing, so I got to give you a little leeway.
I wish I kept just milking it. I wish I was like, dude, I've been playing golf for 10 years, bro.
You don't want that.
I think Brian would just cancel his membership. He'd never.
I know
come
you guys
back.
are supposed to be like elite athletes.
I know. Well, put me in any other instance. Golf is weird because it looks so much easier.
You said
than it is.
I wanted to actually chime in on this because I did hear you saying golf. It's not like an athletic activity. It's more of like a skill. I don't know about that.
It's one of those things where it's how do you put it? You could count it. I feel like it's hard to count as an athletic sport.
Okay.
Only because you're not, it doesn't challenge your strength or endurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I heard you made the argument that you were like stationary or the ball was stationary or something, which I can see. It's not like.
Oh yeah. Natalie was like, well, the ball doesn't move. So like,
But the thing
maybe.
is, the movement, like the golf swing, like the kinetic chain of movement.
It's a physical exercise. It's a physical sport. We'll say that, right? But if I don't know if it's athletic.
Okay, well,
because
make one comparison.
Trump plays golf.
He plays a lot of golf. Yeah, he does.
And I'm just referencing his body type, right?
Okay.
Like, could he like beat you at like touch football?
Okay,
even
I see what you're.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're driving at. Just to make one parallel. Know what I found? Actually, you mentioned this in another podcast. Is like doing like a squat or a deadlift.
Yeah.
We've been working a lot on that, like at the gym, and it's pretty amazing because
the difference, right?
And just the motion and like the just practicing the motion and getting like better.
Right.
I would have thought when I first like got there, like, oh, let me just watch you do this like movement, and I'll just like emulate it 10 times, and then I'll like have it down. But there's so much goes in, like the kinetic chain, all the moving parts of like a squat or a deadlift. With a golf swing, there's definitely some like parallel there with like everything.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So it's just so it is a skill in some ways, but I think there's a little more to it just because, like I said.
I'm definitely not saying that it's not physical, right?
Yeah.
You need your body. You need to know how to use your body. Similar, like Jameson, he's a whiz at jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how fast or how strong you are when it comes to that sport. It comes down to skill a lot of the times, right? The skill will beat out the strength, and timing will beat out the speed anyways. You know what I mean? Especially if you know what you're doing, right? Wouldn't you say that's sort of a fundamental part about something like that?
Well, there's definitely a nuance to it. In certain scenarios, differing levels of strength will have, more or less advantage.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that you can have an advantage by having a little bit more strength, but skill will still probably overcome that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so what were we touching on?
The golf swing.
The golf swing, yeah. So in the same way that the golf swing requires a tremendous amount of practice and skill to do it. So, I mean, I'm not one to, totally, I'm not trying to bash it, but I guess it just doesn't, I don't know if it would be as much of like a football or like a soccer type of oriented sport. I mean, it's obviously a sport, right? I mean, it's a sport. It is.
It's Olympic
just
sport.
It is. Yeah, exactly. So my point is it's something that I think anybody can do as long as they practice enough and don't have any pre-existing conditions that would like hurt them to do it. But I don't know a lot about golf, so that's why it's like I'm kind of a little, I only have so much to say about it because I've seen it. I know how to help people get better at it from a physiological standpoint, not from a skill standpoint, but at least to continue doing it without injury. But That's as far as I can kind of go with it.
Well, if you keep playing, it's really easy to like get the golf
Yeah.
bug. Like you practice a little bit, you get a little bit better, and you just want to keep going out.
Well, there's certainly I will say a lot. There's a lot of damn it! I'm having a total brain fart. The word it really feels good when you smack the ball.
It does.
Like when you hit the ball, it feels
There's nothing
great.
better. There's nothing better.
In fact, I like a lot of games like that with the like I don't know if it's like golf, but I like tennis and badminton. Those are really fun.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find places to play those types of games. I feel like there is not that many tennis courts. I mean, maybe
Really?
towards summer there is, but
In
like
Long
around
Meadow,
here, I think Palmer has one.
Yeah.
I
Long
don't-
Meadow's got
yeah.
the best. Like
Yeah, they got a
public
few.
courts.
A
They
lot
got
of
nice
people
ones.
play those things too.
Yeah.
A lot of clients. But
Yeah.
I will say, even though my argument might be that golf is not that much of a sport as much as other sports might be, or at least physically demanding, but it definitely has a lot of you have a lot of people with like injuries coming from it.
Oh yeah.
Right? But that's mostly because of that age bracket. Anybody
That's true.
Anybody who's anybody can play. So now you have these sedentary people who are completely sedentary. Their whole lives been sedentary, and then they're going and swinging and just firing the same group of muscles continuously over and over again. You develop a sciatica and all this asymmetry in your core and your legs.
Yeah.
So by coincidence, it's one of those sports where people end up developing all these terrible So what I'm trying to say, folks, is if you like playing golf, make sure you're exercising your whole body, especially your core on both sides.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You get fired up. How long you been playing golf?
I started playing when I was like in middle school, which I got a lot of heat for that back in the day. I remember those names, by the way. People out there that made fun of me for playing golf in middle school, I haven't forgotten. So I'm coming for you guys.
Every time
You're
he
stupid now.
every time he smashes that ball, take that, Derek.
Yeah. So I started playing in middle school because both of my grandfathers played golf.
Do you play professionally at all?
What do you mean professionally?
Not professionally.
Like PGA Tour?
Yeah, like I don't know, like competition tour tournaments or anything. I'm gonna turn this on for a sec.
High school, I played in the high school golf team, which is like pretty serious.
Really?
No, not really. But, there's some good golfers out there.
Actually, I think Pathfinder had did Pathfinder? Yeah, we had one. I don't know if Palmer did though.
I think we had a golf team.
Yeah, Palmer. I don't know if did, but we did.
Yeah.
That was fun. I mean, that was cool.
About the golf, like the athleticism golf.
Yeah.
conversation.
What were we saying? An interesting quote.
Interesting note regarding that.
Okay.
So Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
back when he was in his prime, just racking up wins, hit the ball like about 30 yards farther than the average PGA Tour golfer off the tee. So he drove it like on average like 330 yards per tee shot,
Oh wow.
which is like 30 yards farther. Which I mean, athleticism.
Yeah, he was
Well,
an
that's
incredible
that's where
athlete.
that strength comes in.
Yeah.
Than that skill.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it is such a fine-tuned thing. Like I noticed in just that one time going to the driving range with Matt, how different every shot can be based off of how you're setting up, how you're swinging, how you're following through,
Yeah.
like how you're positioning the club before you hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're sort of calibrating based off of knowing what your body's going to do when you swing.
Yep.
Turning it in a little bit, turning it out. There's all these little things.
There's a lot of variables.
So I don't want to talk like I'm bashing it. There's definitely, it's fun.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's worth it. It's worth doing that, I think. Do you have, I guess the good thing is you don't have to be some star genetic masterpiece
Not
to
at
do
all.
it.
And it's a game
you
for
know?
life too. You can play when you're in middle school. You can
Gives
play
you an
when you're 80
excuse to
years
be
old.
outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking around,
Yeah.
lots of sunlight. That's the nice thing too. Is out in out in the golf course. I mean, you got a lot of open space,
Totally.
a lot of good sunlight.
Yeah.
That's tough to find, especially here in New England, because I feel like every time I'm like, oh, I'd like to get some sun, I'll go for a bike ride or a hike or something, but I'm always under the trees, you know,
Yeah,
because it's not
yeah.
really, there's not really that many places. We have so many trees.
I
In
know.
fact, I was talking to Jameson about it, or maybe, was it you, Jameson, we were talking about? Yeah, we were. We were talking about, most people don't recognize or realize that New England is a temperate rainforest. You know what I mean? You would never know that that's the climate that you live in because it's just been so populated for so many years. Any tree you see right now standing has probably been cut down before 100 years ago, if not sooner. So there's really no more virgin forests in the Northeast because of how much the colonies passed through and turned everything into farmland and obviously domesticated this entire portion of the planet.
Yep.
That's why there's no mammals around here that eat us anymore.
It's crazy.
Besides like bears, but we never even see bears. But when you take that into account, you kind of realize why, you look into, especially after a rainy day like today, it seems like the side of the road is just walls of vegetation. It's like you couldn't even run into the woods if you wanted to, It's crazy, man. So do you have any other hiking planned? I mean, what's your course of action? How often do you even go hiking? Do you go out a lot?
Yeah, and probably like every couple of weeks or so, probably we'll do, even if it's just like a small hike. There's so many good places. I mean, I go up to the Berkshires quite a bit. It's where my friend Chris is.
Oh, is that where you're from?
He was in Great Barrington.
Nice.
Yeah. Not originally,
okay.
but yeah. And I actually lived up in Great Barrington for a few years.
Yep.
So a lot of my friends are there, and that's where all the nice hike, like the Appalachian Trail, runs right through there.
I know.
There's so many good spots. So.
Speaking of the AT, we were just talking about, so on the, I just shared an article on my Facebook feed, and I just want to pull it up here to read it verbatim, but it's unbelievable how many currently, unbelievable from the aspect of like, so we understand that we're in the middle of not in the middle, but maybe hopefully towards the end of a pandemic, but the fact that there's a lot of restrictions right now on what kind of hiking you can complete. So are you familiar with the AMC 48 challenge?
No.
So New Hampshire, the White Mountains has a challenge. If you do all 48 4,000-foot mountains, you get like your name gets put on a list and you get sent a badge.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It says, oh, you completed all of them. And there's also a separate badge, which is for if you've completed all of them during the winter, which is an entirely different challenge, a much shorter list. And it's done by honor system and everything. But because of the current state of events, they're not allowing people to complete these challenges, which is absolutely insane considering it's outside. You can do these by yourself, away from everybody. Right now I'm just scrolling here. I'm sorry about that.
No, weird to have restrictions on
kind of going outside, right? Yeah. It's like, so because it's funny because somebody even mentioned it to me like, oh yeah, but just so you know, we're not counting anybody who's done the T25, because T25 is another one. So there's 25 trails within those 48 mountains that are the 25 most terrifying. Okay. I've done by accident like 3 or 4 of them, I think. Jameson, I'm not sure if Jameson would know, but a few of them you weren't there for. Yeah, and I've done I think 19 of them as of right now.
Nice.
We haven't been up there yet, but man, I'm gonna tell you right now, any one of those you go to is awesome. But back to what we were talking about there with the AT, there was somebody. How do I even search for a page? Do you follow the Obnoxious Hiker?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll look it up though.
Obnoxious. Oh, I got it right here. It's a group. I thought it was a page. So I'm just reading the article that was shared, if I can actually find it. Yeah. So the hikers who lied and broke the laws to finish the AT this year. So there was this article where these hikers, they call them through hikers, finished the AT during the pandemic, but they don't want to count them. So for those of you who don't know, how long, could you confirm how long the AT is? It goes from Georgia all the way up to Maine.
Yeah, to Cotton, yeah.
Like, dude, you did it. You can't take that away. It happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
190 miles.
Say that again?
2,190 miles.
2,190?
Yeah, typical through
miles.
Takes 5 to 7 months to hike the entire
5 to 7 months worth of time. And you have to understand, you can't carry that much food on your back, so you have to strategically mail yourself food throughout the course to PO boxes to pick up, yada, yada. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you could really do that in an extreme group of people. Typically, it's done with 1 or 2 people. I mean, I've passed a lot of individuals on the trail, because the AT runs through the White Mountains. So you'll come across, oh, yeah, I'm from Georgia, and they'll be hiking up. I think they go against the winter, with the winter.
So they'd be hiking
They
north.
sometimes hike down. Yeah, I forget how they really plan it, but essentially they do whatever it takes to avoid the winter. Yeah. Obviously, because you go up to Maine, and if you're in Maine and it's December, you're gonna be
screwed.
shit out of luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. So it's just really mind-boggling that you're not allowed to go through these things, or at least be recognized for going through them, because it's a hard list to make. It's a hard to get on that list, to be hiking the whole thing. But yeah, that's the guy.
It sucks, man.
I know, like, dude, it's like, yes, 1,000. How many miles? 1,800.
2,200 or something.
2,200.
Yeah.
What, for the Appalachian?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, it's 2,190.
Dude, that's a long drive.
Yeah.
It's like from here to Cali. What is that? 2,300 miles from here to Cali, or 3,000?
Oh, that's definitely like over 3,000.
Yeah, still almost to Cali.
To walk that far.
Yeah.
And like, nope, sorry, I didn't go.
Yeah, man. So what's it been like so far training with us? I know you've been crushing it. The guys only have amazing things to say about
That's
you.
good to hear. It's been awesome.
Been
man.
putting on size,
Yeah, man.
strength. I mean,
Yeah.
everything seems like it's been
That's
going
true.
up, and you've been sticking with it.
Yeah,
which
for
is
those
the best part.
for those people tuning in right now that are just listening to the program, imagine a man so muscular. I'm describing myself that I'm just bulging in
Yeah,
this
if you can't,
t-shirt right
if
now.
you're listening right now, 350 pounds of raw, untethered steel.
So now that you have that person in your mind, think the exact opposite.
Yeah, now switch that up.
Yeah.
No, Brian's been doing good, and he realized, similar to what I realized when I was starting to really pursue these things, that how important eating is.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you're a guy with a high metabolism like myself, and eating is so important. Eating is so important for everybody. We'll talk fitness all day. I've said this a million times already. There's no way, whether you're trying to lose or gain weight, where you can effectively stop eating. It's just not in the cards. You're not going to do it. You can't. So getting that down with your routine, I mean, there's no set of goals that you can't reach.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
What's been the toughest part to get through for you?
Honestly, the hardest part was like the diet part, because like the training part, I just show up and just put in the effort. That's also another huge, like, I could go there and just kind of half-ass it, and I'm just like hurting myself. So
yeah,
I definitely try and like give 100%, which isn't that hard. Because I love it. I just look
Oh
forward to it so
yeah,
much.
it's inspiring to work out with it. That's the thing too. If anybody's having trouble in the gym, or getting, and hopefully the gyms will open back up soon, but getting the, motivation to push it, it's so helpful to be there with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Especially you guys are just awesome with.
I mean, I Matt's great, Noob's great. I mean, I love even just working out with them in general too, because like, it's tough sometimes. If I'm right now, and I don't know why, and I'm just admitting to it out loud, so hopefully I can get over it and get through it and stop being a puss. But I will sometimes like go. I'll be like, okay, I want to work out, and then I'll kind of 50% it. I hate it when I do that, man. It's tough. But when you're there with somebody, you're now accountable.
I know, man. Yeah, and they've been awesome, and even I've had like little injuries too, like along the way. Nothing like from that's happened at the gym. I can tell you about. Actually, I had like a bad shoulder injury.
A
couple weeks ago. I was brushing my teeth. I get so psyched up before I go into the gym.
Nice,
especially with Matt. So it was probably around like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I was like brushing my teeth, getting ready, amped up. And because I was so pumped up and just looking forward to this training session, I did that thing. It's hard to describe for people listening to the radio, where you kind of pretend you have like a dead arm. Yeah. And then you kind of like hit your forearm. And it
dangles.
It dangles. I was doing that in the mirror, and I went for that double up and over. And
like one of the... Like,
yeah, and the impingement. I got a real bad shoulder impingement.
Oh, you think you pinched a nerve?
Pinched a nerve. It was bad. I was hurting bad, bro.
Tear the labrum?
Yeah, so fortunately, Matt, shout out Matt, just
showed you the ropes, how to fix that.
Yeah, he worked through it, powered through it, and to this day, my form is, I mean, you see. I mean,
long story short, too, folks, if you're avoiding exercise because something hurts, it is, I cannot encourage you enough to go look for somebody who might be able to help you, a coach, a trainer, somebody somewhere that has those types of professionals, because at the end of the day, you can really, there are exercises, there are ways to get rid of that pain. And more often than not, as you know, you've learned and I've learned working there with these physical therapists, that it's a matter of just targeting certain muscle groups and strengthening certain parts of your body to sort of nullify that pain, get rid of it, so that way you can move through. Because it's just a matter of range of motion. If you have a certain group of muscles that are too tight, you're not going to be able to get the range of motion. You'll keep feeling that same pain because you're running into something.
Yep.
You know, strengthening up the back a little bit for you, the shoulders. I've always had clicky shoulders. It's been the worst.
Yeah.
It's something I've really had to work on a lot, more so than I think anything else for me, just because probably like you, when I started working out, it's all bench.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Bench and curls. Bench and curls.
I would do that. I like your analogy too about the stretch, because it's so true. Because I just want to go there and just like, let's freaking crush it.
Let's just
let's do like bench squats, deadlifts
slap
every time.
chalk around.
Yeah, and freaking hate stretching, bro.
Yeah, stretching.
Like you said, it's the salad of exercise.
The vegetables. Freaking oh, it really is.
Big bowl of ass salad.
Yeah, it's just iceberg lettuce, no dressing. That's all it is.
You got to do it though. You got to get those. You got to get them in. You know, otherwise.
Well, the beauty in a lot of stuff that we do, especially Matt's amazing at this, is he implements these exercises that you have to do with a lot of range of motion.
I know.
And that doubles as a stretch. Because there are some pretty good arguments out there that saying stretching isn't as effective as they say it is. It's good to warm up. It's good to cool down.
Yeah.
But stretching statically, supposedly, and I would like to get one of the PTs in here to really confirm this, because they would know a lot more about it. But I'm going to say that, and I don't know if you could find anything on your end, but how effective stretching is. My argument right now, what I'm thinking is that you can accomplish what you want to with stretching by just implementing better range of motion under maybe less weight. As long as you can keep the integrity of your form and push yourself through the range of motion, you can probably promote stretching.
In terms of how effective stretching I've definitely done research about this.
Yeah.
The most scientific and physical fitness communities have different people who
Say it's
disagree.
relevant.
There's some people who say that it's essential, and some people who say that it doesn't really
Matter.
do much. There's people who say, stretching too much will hurt you.
Yeah, so what he's saying is it's pretty much a split. It's sort of split right now between the professionals, the higher ups of the community.
It's ass salad.
It's ass salad.
Stretching has benefits, though.
What's that?
On average, most people say stretching has benefits.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure what people get out of stretching the most too. What's that? Gosh, I wish I could remember the words Matt always uses. It was parasympathetic state. Stretching does put you in a good parasympathetic state, and it kind of helps you, like, from a really just fired up standpoint, all of a sudden kind of cool your jets. You know what I mean? And that's probably the most important part about stretching. I'm a big fan of like yoga and stuff like that too, personally, from what I've seen and what I've heard. It usually helps people a lot to kind of get. But yoga, the beauty about yoga is that often it is considered to be stretching. I feel like a lot of the times you find that it's really just working through ranges of motion without any weights, just in and out of poses. You know what I mean? Have you ever done yoga or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to, when I lived in Great Barrington, I went through a phase where I was doing a lot of yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And it was awesome. I was doing like some weight training too, and there's a good studio up there. I was going to Yoga GB. It's the one right in downtown Great Barrington.
Yeah. Dude, Great Barrington is New England.
Yeah.
There is no town more New England than Great Barrington.
It is very quintessential.
Yeah,
New England.
It's like
Stockbridge, like the Norman Rockwell,
red brick buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
They have a lot of nice places. Do you ever? How long you been in Great Barrington?
Well, I lived there from like 2016 to like 2019 or something.
Okay.
2018.
Okay. Were you there when the Gypsy joint was there?
I moved to Great Barrington like a month after it closed.
No way.
I know,
So you do know about that
I
place.
I know.
So that was one of my favorite places.
I heard that was the spot.
I've been there once.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was just avid goer, but the time that I went there, I got these things called like pizza wedgies or something. They were so good.
Yeah, I heard that was just a cool spot. It's too bad.
It was pretty cool. It was definitely like decked out, like tie-dye tapestries everywhere.
Yep, that sounds like Great Barrington. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of tie-dye tapestries, you must spend quite a bit of time in Northampton. I saw you
Dude,
posting.
love
you
Northampton.
posted, I love the bike. I saw you posting a story.
Yeah,
on
longboarding.
Snapchat of you were boarding.
Longboarding,
I saw
yeah.
on the bike trail.
Yep.
I love that the bike trail. in
Bike trail's
Northampton
awesome.
Is just
I'll
such a great
rip that
spot.
every now and then. I got to keep you in the loop
Dude,
on that because I'll
anytime,
do the
dude.
bike with that. I start because Jameson, he lives in Belchertown. I'll start
Nice.
at the beginning of that trail.
Yeah.
Or at the end that starts in Belchertown, that is, and then we'll go all the way up to Northampton.
I didn't know you could go. Does that go through
Dude,
Hadley?
you can go.
and-
Yeah, you can
Okay.
go. It's well, if you go all the way to Northampton from Belchertown, it's like a 12-mile bike ride.
Oh,
But
sweet.
there and back's almost 24.
Yeah.
So it's a good day. You know what
Yeah,
I
we
mean?
should do
You're
that.
on the
That'd be
bike for a
awesome.
while. It's definitely worth it. For those of you who haven't tried it, what's the name of the bike trail?
It's like the Manhan Rail Trail.
Norwood Talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
that's
one in
what
Northampton.
I think. What's it called?
The Manhan Rail Trail.
Is that what it's called
Yeah.
there?
I think so.
Okay.
It sounds weird, but
The man.
we'll Google that.
Well, anyways, where it starts in Belchertown's called what's it called again, Jameson? Sorry. Norwood. So it's the Norwood rail trail that probably goes into the Manhan
Yeah.
Trail, and then you can keep going actually all the way to East Hampton.
Yeah,
so
I've
if
done
you
that.
want to really
yeah,
make a
but,
day out
yeah,
of it,
yeah,
you go way up there.
yeah, man.
Were you around in the extravaganza years?
I have not. I've seen pictures of it.
Dude.
Though. It looks pretty sweet.
That was so much fun.
One's at the fairground, right?
No,
Or-
they did it in the Commons I'm talking way back. This was
Okay.
like almost 10 years ago now. In the Commons in Amherst. What was the association that allowed that to be legal? Because they had a day, or
Yeah.
sorry, it was a weekend in Amherst, Massachusetts, where it was legal to smoke in the Commons, and you'd have thousands of people jammed into the Commons,
Yeah.
concerts, vendors,
Yeah.
performers all over the place for a
People
whole
eating
weekend.
Sandwiches.
You wouldn't believe it.
Quite the eclectic group.
They didn't even chew the sandwiches.
Are you someone that partakes in?
I have plenty
Yeah.
of times. I'm not against it.
Not to put you on the spot.
No,
here,
no,
over
not
here.
at all. We actually had a bud tender from Netta here, Jacob
really?
Moriarty. Yeah,
Oh, I haven't watched
episode
that
3.
one. I
It's a
gotta
good
get that-
episode.
okay.
Yeah, he had a lot of great things. I'll definitely have to have him back because he's a very well-spoken individual, and
Yeah.
he's somebody I went to high school with too. Good kid, U.S. veteran as well, and he right now works at Netta, and he
Yep.
started at Netta when Netta started.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in with all those guys, and he's really made his way into that company, and it's something kind of he's always wanted to do. So it was really awesome to see that he's pursued that and accomplished that all
That's
at the
really
same
cool.
time.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of cool stuff to say. But
Yeah.
I like back then I explored it and stuff. I'm not somebody who like avidly smokes, but you know
Yeah.
it's I mean, for our generation, as we all know, and has come to learn, it's really it's just something as casual as coffee these days.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
it's like
Yeah.
it's almost more casual than drinking, because drinking you kind of have to stay put or be somewhere, and there's a level of danger involved in it, because like if you're deciding to go home after a long
I know,
night
man.
in Northampton, that place will chew you up and spit
Dude,
you out.
well, dude, it's crazy.
I love going to the platform and stuff. Have you ever been to
No.
New Year's Northampton?
Oh, the one that the ball drop, or doesn't it go up? The
it
ball goes
rises.
up. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun up there. Fun
Yeah.
up there. It's definitely I love going up that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
For just about anything. In fact, I was there, as you saw on Snapchat,
Yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see it's coming back to life. Everything's
good.
outside right now, but
Yeah.
like business-wise, but it's definitely a town worth visiting.
Yeah. I love it.
I mean, the have you ever been to the tea shop there too?
Yeah. Of course.
Dobra?
Yeah. Dobra. Yeah. Yeah.
Dobra's
definitely.
cool.
Yeah.
Dobra's cool. You know what's really actually a really cool place is UMass over there in Amherst.
Yep.
I've only been there a couple times, but that place is huge.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
the
campus is
campus is
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you go to college? Where did you say you were going?
So I went to Boston University for my undergrad, and then I ended up I did my 4 years at BU, and then I moved to Washington D.C. and I went to George Washington University, and
Is that
did
all
my
around here?
master's program. Where?
Where are those colleges?
GW is in Washington D.C.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
gotcha.
so
I
I
think you
moved
just
there.
said that.
Yeah.
Dude, what was Washington D.C. like? How long did you live there for?
I lived there for like 4 or 5 years.
Did you just go there for college? Were you?
I was in school for 3 years, and then I worked Well, it was like 2.5 years of school, 2.5 years of working, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What'd you do up there?
So I got my master's degree in hospital administration.
Yeah.
So I worked at a hospital doing administration.
Yeah.
And, it was a good experience. It was a good place to go to school, good program, met a lot of really interesting, cool people.
Yeah.
And I liked the place where I worked. I got a lot of good experience and really enjoyed it. I just got a little burnt out of living in the city.
Yeah.
And I wanted, my family's back here, and I wanted to like settle into a house and like have a yard. And
Do you have your own place?
yeah, I do in summers.
Nice.
Yep.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I always take away from the places that I've been, or the schools that I've gone to, or the jobs that I've had, it's always been the most valuable thing I've gotten from any of those experiences. Usually, the level of networking you've developed in the time that you were there, the people you've met,
Yeah.
the experiences you've had, because those types of things, they transcend the experience itself, because even though you may not work at those places, maybe you have friendships you've developed from those things, or hobbies that you've developed because you were at these places, like for instance, pretty much where I'm at now was because of my last job. They're not related, the two companies or ATI, but people who were working there obviously, not only helped me learn how to do the job better in the time that I was there, but there was people who also pushed me or even recommended, oh, hey, there's this, there's that. And I still keep in touch with a lot of these people. In fact, two of these good friends of mine who I've met at the last job that I had are getting married. I'm
oh, really?
have coincidentally become one of their groomsmen,
That's awesome.
Everything got put off because of the COVID thing. But I mean, when the time comes, I think it's going to be a good time, man.
That's awesome.
It's just cool to sort of take those things into account, because for those of you who are, say, you feel like you're in a dead-end job or something like that, notice who you're around, and hopefully there's some value in that itself. You know what I mean? Because that's what sucks the most, is when you're somewhere and you really just zero you can gain from it, because that's where you're really losing. It's not sometimes, oh, I'm not getting paid that much, or oh, the job sucks. But if the people who you work with really suck, I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, that is brutal.
What would your advice be to somebody who's in administration? What are some things that you learned or gotten better at as time goes on?
Honestly, I don't even know if like what I'm doing now is like I'm not the best person to ask.
Just sort of clocking it now.
I'm just pretty much spinning my wheels at this point. No, I mean, I feel okay about like the job that I do now. I don't like necessarily use like all the skills that I learned in college, and it doesn't necessarily like check all the boxes for things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But there's some things like I like working with customers, like experience that I've gained, because that like transcends like any industry.
Right.
Being able to like talk to people, and
that's huge.
Yeah, and just it makes it feel good, like working in a family business, like contributing to that, and it makes me feel good about it.
Keeps you close.
Other than that,
well, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? What's your?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Man. I don't think I'll be doing what I'm doing now, honestly.
Yeah. Not in a bad way, though.
Not a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, not a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, it serves its purpose. Like, I have a roof over my head.
You gotta grow. Would you continue in administration, or is there any like side passions or anything you have in mind? Hobbies,
passions.
Pro golfer Brian Williams strikes out Tiger Woods.
I don't know, that bud tender position your friend has sounds like mighty tempting.
You'd be surprised, man. That's a huge and booming industry.
Yeah,
because of now that it's recreational. I mean, the amount of places. I mean, think about how many package stores, or for those of you who are listening, what are they called? What are they package stores called? Alcohol stores.
Liquor stores.
Yeah. Liquor. I don't even know what they're called anywhere else. Liquor stores. We call them package stores here in Boston because we're wicked awesome. Wicked awesome. You could imagine how many places might open up that sell that kind of marijuana and things like that. And the fortunate part about that is that marijuana, you kind of have to have some type of understanding a little bit more, because nobody goes to the alcohol store and says, hey, other than asking specific questions about wine, I feel like you kind of just go in there and you leave. You know what I mean? You don't even need to know anything about alcohol to work in a place like that. marijuana, it's a little bit different because you have people who are going in there for medical reasons as well.
Right.
Nobody's going in like, my doctor said I need to start drinking. You know what I mean?
Dude, weed's crazy, man. Those edibles. I'm in it for the gains, essentially. I take those edibles. Dude, it's crazy. Like, I'll take one. Hopefully, I don't know who's going to watch this, but hopefully, no one I don't.
Nobody's like,
crazy.
Brian.
Dude, I'll come home. I'll, like, make my healthy dinner.
Yeah.
Like, some, like, chicken and vegetables and stuff, and then I'll, like, eat, like, in some kind of, like, chocolate bar or, like, edible or something.
Yeah.
And then I'll, like, eat my healthy dinner, and I'll, like, put on a movie, and, like, everything's good. And then
And then
next
all of a
thing
sudden,
I know, I'm fucking crushing bagel bites.
you're
whoa.
stuck in the curtains.
There's like Oreos, freaking crushing ice cream.
You know, that's probably a good thing because you need to pack on the calories.
Yeah.
You could use the energy, burn through it. You're done your work. Though I will say I've never heard like just the stories from edibles. Let the record show that I've also never had an edible. I don't know how. I've just never come across it. Though I will say, like, I remember back when Colorado was the only place you could get weed legally, right? And I'd heard all these stories about people go to Colorado and like, oh, we went to the dispensary and got the gummy bears, right? And these are people who refrain from any type of exposure to marijuana their entire lives, their first experience. And I've heard these stories from at least 4 or 5 different accounts, if I can remember properly, that they just went all in and just ate a bag of gummy bears.
Good luck.
And they're like, I can't believe this is legal. Like, I can't believe you ate a whole bag of fucking gummy bears. I don't know how many milligrams. I don't know, 1,000.
Yeah.
First time ever doing marijuana, like anything related. Craziness. That's how you end up back in time. Wake up and there's dinosaurs roaming the earth.
Either that or like a padded room.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one we're in.
Hey, this jacket is tight. Like, can I get out? No, man. You tried to drive a bus down the train tracks. That's pretty much, I feel like, where you might end up by accident. Who knows?
Me?
No, not you.
Okay.
Not you. If you're somebody out there, I'm talking to them.
Okay.
If they decide to do marijuana for the first time, take a small dose and wait.
Yes.
It's not going to kick in right away. Your body has to digest it.
Yes.
If you don't want to smoke it, you don't have to smoke it. That's the thing. I think there's a lot of stigma behind smoking it.
Oh, definitely.
You know, like with reefer madness, we're just coming out of a generation of people who are conditioned to believe that there's this like terrible thing about marijuana. Marijuana is bad. Criminals do marijuana or something like that. You know what I mean? Now, that's the beauty about our generation, and even the generation just before ours too kind of understands. It's like, oh well, no one knows anybody who's done anything bad with marijuana. You know what I mean? Besides like getting caught selling a lot of it. But that's what happens when you have a massive untapped market. You know what I mean?
Everyone's doing it.
I know. These days. So
Somewhere.
there you go. That's it. 5 years from now, you're gonna be
on the streets, homeless,
what?
hopelessly addicted to marijuana. I was gonna make a crude joke, but I probably shouldn't do that. Had a sign.
It's an open platform.
Yeah.
We're still. I think we're still in a free country.
Tone it down.
Yeah, man. No, it's definitely that's the actually. So out of everything, all jokes aside, the best part I think about the whole development of that industry is the CBD that's come out of it. Like I could talk all day about how awesome CBD is, because I initially ran into it due to I had like anxiety.
Doo-doo?
No, not doo-doo.
Okay.
Anxiety. I had bad anxiety.
I got anxiety, bro. I got real bad anxiety.
Right? So, and this is probably in part to
I got anxiety for days.
yeah, dude. Due to caffeine, that's a big part of it. If you have anxiety and you're still drinking a ton of caffeine, you might want to cut down. That'll fix your problem probably. But I can tell you, man, CBD really helped me out. And it was great, which is the shittiest part about it, because I only needed to take it for a little bit to really... I still have anxiety, but it isn't as bad as it was. Like, it was, like, terrible. But eating and exercise helps, too. But I will say, the CBD was a huge help, and it was something that I took just to get me out of that lull, and I never had to take it again. It's super expensive right now, but it's so effective.
Really?
Joints, like, if you have joint pain, things like that, I think the issue is, I've run into a lot of people who go, I tried it didn't really work. It's a dosage thing.
Okay.
Like, you can take it, but they always give you these, like, okay, well, here's a thimble, essentially, and every drop has, like, 5 milligrams.
Okay.
You know, like you probably should take like 25 to 40 at least.
Okay.
But I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so people.
Full disclosure, I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, but I will say, in my experience, I never felt anything unless I was taking at least 25 milligrams.
Dude, I'd be guzzling that stuff.
You just take the thing out, fucking just bottoms up. Take the little squeezer out, just throw it. Like, yo, what is this? 1,500 per bottle? You feel pretty good though. I mean, it works. I can't tell you enough. But yeah, if you're having those kinds of issues, especially psychological ones, try working on your level of fitness and your dietary health, because those things will always come first and fix your problems the fastest. That I think anybody can say confidently without being a doctor, because that's pretty much the Achilles heel of the American society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was one thing I think I maybe touched base with Natalie, is that it was surprising that the health industry wasn't an essential component. It probably will be going forward. I could see, like, here's where if I were to, if I had a crystal ball, I think I would tell you that it won't be too long before your health insurance will cover like personal training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you got something there?
Well, some programs actually already do that. They
Yeah.
do reimbursements where you have to
Yeah.
mail in proof of
Yep,
participation
yep.
in a fitness.
So what Jameson was saying, that there are already some programs, and that too we're familiar with. There at New England Functional Fitness, we have quite a few clients who do get those kickbacks. But until it's like a fully, reimbursed or paid for thing, because as much as people pay for health insurance, especially in the state of Massachusetts, you would think something like that would be entirely included, just to keep them healthy.
Yeah, it's the whole push for like preventative medicine.
Yeah. Do you deal with any of the insurance and liability stuff on your end? I mean, how much administration do you do? Like, what do you take tabs on the most? Because I'm truly curious, because like from just starting the business, the administration portion of it has been like a job of itself that none of us would be able to do without each other. Myself, Matt, and Anoop.
Okay.
I'm
not going to be able to help you out too.
No, I don't want you.
Okay.
No, I'm saying, like, what's it like for you, for your company?
In terms of like the health insurance, we have other people that take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just talk to customers.
Oh, okay.
The phone, like,
I gotcha.
all the more complicated stuff like taxes, health insurance. I let other people take care of that stuff.
Yeah. No, we do the same thing. I think it's just like a one-time thing with it when it comes to taxes and the insurance. But yeah, what they send you all the disgruntled
exactly
customers.
Yep,
like,
pretty much.
You guys dumped oil all over the whole building, and Brian's like, oh hey, it'll rain in a few days.
That's a little washout.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So how long you've been working with him?
I've been probably like 2 or 3 years now, something like that.
Do you have any siblings who do that with you?
No, I'm an only child.
Dude, only child gang.
Me too.
Me too.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
It is nice.
It wasn't so nice like growing up all the time. It was really lonely, but
yeah.
I never had to share anything, which probably didn't serve me too
Yeah.
well later in life, but I enjoyed it at the time.
I will say the learning curve with sharing came much slower as a only child.
Also socially, I felt like because I went, like I mentioned, I went to like a boarding school for high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt
Is that like private school?
Yeah. When I first got there, like when I was a freshman in high school, and you're just in, quarters with like 15 to 20 other 15-year-olds, like freshmen in high school. It's like a really quick, you have to, I don't know. I felt like I was like behind the curve in terms of
those kids were like geniuses?
No, not like just like socially, like interacting with other
What is that like?
people.
Was there like a dress code? You guys had like a suit?
You have to wear like a button-down shirt and all that crap.
That's the one thing I wish I could have gone. That's the only reason, if I were to be like jealous of not going to a private school, is like, man, those suits look pretty sweet. I've passed months in Wilbraham Academy all the time, and that place, like, everyone looks so professional. Like, man, these kids
freaking nerds.
Hey, I drive twice as fast through that area. Try me. I've been pulled over in that area before.
I have too, man.
On purpose.
My last speeding ticket was right in Wilbraham, right near Wilbraham Munson.
Seems like a beautiful place. I mean, anybody going to college there, very cool. Very high school.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
still, it seems like a cool place to go to high school. Was it like that? Did you guys have a lot of cool sports programs and stuff?
Yeah, we played them in sport. I went to Williston. It's in East Hampton. We played them in sports. Wilbraham Munson. It was nice. Yeah, it's a nice campus or whatever, and it was cool. There's like international students. I like that part.
Did you ever go international?
I didn't. like travel internet. Like they don't have like a program in high
like
school for that. But we had like people come.
How about
from
for college? I know some people did a foreign exchange
I didn't
program.
do like study abroad, but I like traveled
abroad,
when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Have you been any other countries?
Yeah, actually.
Love traveling. I cannot wait till they allow flying again. Where have you been?
Well, I actually lived. My mom was actually from Ireland, so I used to go over there a lot, and I lived over there when I was like in middle school age. So that was a cool experience, and then I like traveled like through parts.
How
of
long
Europe.
were you in Ireland for?
Like I lived there for like one. It was like 7th grade. I did my like 7th grade over there.
That's crazy, dude. I did Portugal. I was in Portugal for 5th grade.
Dude, that's awesome.
Because my whole family's from Portugal.
Are you Portuguese?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I was gonna make a joke about like Ludlow and being Portuguese.
Please do, dude. It's the funniest. It's just so stereotypical of me to, by chance, end up finding my first apartment in Ludlow.
Yeah.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of people come here because they don't know how to speak English. I don't know how my grandparents really did it, to be completely honest with you, because they don't know a lick of English. They've been living here since the 60s.
That's
Imagine
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
You'd have to stick around this place. You know what I mean? Or where else is it? Gosh, there's another place around these parts that have a lot of. I believe it or not, Provincetown P-Town has a lot of like Portuguese.
Okay.
Like what's it? Bakeries. I forget when I went up there. It wasn't too long ago, but that place is like a Northampton on steroids.
Yeah. That's what I actually have never been there, but that's
you've never been there. It's actually
like,
really cool. It's so cool going up there. It's a great atmosphere. They know how to party.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's so worth it. It's a long drive though. It's
crazy
how
to
far.
The Cape. Yeah.
It's funny the difference though. I have a buddy who lives out in Reno. Shout out to Eddie Spaghetti. The difference between like the East world and the West world out there. West is so big. You could be driving for hours and still be in the same state. You could pass through 3 states, be driving for hours in this part of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you go out there, it takes longer than you would think to get to P-Town because it's at the tip of the curve of the Massachusetts curve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Is that where Provincetown is, right at the tip of the curve? You can see the sunset and rise on the ocean because of that curve, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, isn't that fun fact?
That's really cool.
Fun fact.
I didn't
if you
know
want
that.
to check that out, yeah. So where's your next plan? Huh? Yeah. So where to next, Brian?
Travel? I don't have any immediate travel plans because of the whole coronavirus situation, but I'd like to do actually some like domestic travel.
Dude, that's one thing.
I'd like to go out west. I'm jealous. You went to Arizona, man.
Arizona was awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to do that. I mean, I'd like to go to the desert next, if possible.
Dude, so worth it. For those of you who don't know, in the beginning of the pandemic, I went out to Arizona just to check it out, and it was a great opportunity. One of the greatest opportunities I've ever seized because not only the plane tickets were cheap, I was by myself on the plane practically. I think there was like 5, 6, 7, 8 people on the plane. And to be on a commercial airplane with that few people, it's like I could have been doing somersaults and I got like so many free drinks because like nobody. I can't tell you how many times I had like 4 or 5 tomato juices when I was there. I felt like a king.
Just that alone, I mean, makes it worth it. You got a sweet tan coming back too.
Yeah, I got a sweet tan coming back. That place was wild. Like I've never been in a place that I felt like I'm just in this massive playground. Because you just go downhill and you're back in town. Because Arizona Sedona, it rests inside of a series of canyons. So as soon as you start going uphill, you get to the top of these bluffs. These they call them mesas out there. You can see the whole town from above, and then you just go back down any which way you want. And because there's so little like vegetation, sort of like here, you walk into the woods, you could literally have to trailblaze if you're not using an actual trail. There, you can kind of just walk.
Yeah.
Because it's the desert. You know, it's a high desert, but it's still just very, very low vegetation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one of the videos you posted on like for New England Functional Fitness, like a stretching video on the side of the canyon.
I was lost.
Dude, that's crazy.
Fun fact. Okay, so that was a funny story. I went to this place. So one of the places that overlooks the town is called Thunder Mountain. Such a cool trail, such a cool mountain. But I got lost on it. It was a closed trail, so I went under the caution tape for that one. Because it's funny, they're closed down a few places. It's not like there's anybody out there. Sedona has a standing population of like 11,000, 12,000 people. Maybe 10,000 people. It's a very small town. And nobody was traveling there, of course, because of the, current situation. So it was weird that they would even close those things down in the first place. But man, when I went up there, you don't realize that the trail looks completely different if you turn around to go look at it, right? You're facing it as you're going up. Okay, I get it. I see that. But then when you look back, I was like, where the hell am I? I got up like one piece of the mountain, and then I realized it dipped down and went up even higher once I got up there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. This looks like a nice rock to do my stretches, so I just stuck with that.
Dude, it was an amazing backdrop. It was
Yeah, it was cool. It's so cool out there. Canyons, the people, really love the people out there. I met a couple. Yeah. I mean, I have a vlog channel. I try to do my best to document. I need to get better at that. It always helps to go out to the White Mountains though, to sort of get like to get some footage just to play with, because this is making videos and stuff is still like my side hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably get a good commercial one of these days for Neff. You want to be our poster child?
That'd be awesome, man. Dude.
Brian Williams is the man. Just get you flexing, kissing your biceps with a mask on, of course. That'd be so much fun. Well, just like that, it's actually been exactly an hour, Brian. That's on the dot.
Yeah.
On the dot. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we sign off?
To the people, no. Hopefully, that was fun, man. I had fun. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you coming on. I really do. It was an honor to have you, and it's always fun to just get some content. You know, keep the dream rolling. I don't know. This is like episode 9, you know, of the saga. This never ends.
It's really cool that you started this. So this is a great during the quarantine, just to try something new.
Exactly, cool. Something fun, something new, a good product to keep me busy. Through the quarantine, because that was actually my biggest fear during this, was just not having something I could say, well, at least I was busy, you know, because it was pretty easy of a time to kind of do nothing if you really wanted to. And this kind of gave me an excuse to not only do something, but also to touch base with a lot of people and sit down and have fun. And you kind of get to learn a little bit about yourself.
Totally, man.
Kind of what it's like to be under the lights with their mic on. You can hear your voice. You're on the camera. You know what I mean? It's a different experience.
I don't like hearing my own voice. It's weird. I might not be able to listen to this.
It's tough. I don't listen to much of mine. I do minimal editing. I just put it up there, edit the audio as much as I can to make it sound good, and then just...
No, your videos are very well made. I like
I appreciate that.
The flute intro, at the beginning.
Yeah. That's all. I did that on GarageBand. I have the...
Really?
Yeah, I did. I make my own music. I'm not going to tell you it's that great, but, you know, it's pretty easy to kind of come up with some digital stuff. So that's all... It kind of has to be these days.
That flute solo was you, bro?
Well, not my. I didn't play the flute.
Okay.
So I did it with GarageBand. You know, there's all these loops.
But you made it.
I made the whole the song, the outro, the intro.
Yeah.
All those things. It's fun. It's definitely worth it. For those of you who do have a computer out there, this day and age, it's pretty easy to be creative if you really want to be. And there's no feeling as great as making something and putting it out there. In my opinion, I really love it. But yeah, thanks again, Brian. Appreciate it, dude. Another knuckle bump. I'll see you in the gym sooner than later, I'm sure. For those of you who are listening, thank you so much, guys. It's been great. It's been awesome. I appreciate all the support and the constructive criticism. Please keep it coming, actually. Shout out to Zach Olson for reaching out and giving his 2 cents, because I do appreciate that kind of stuff, all right? So take care, guys, and see ya!